The unions say that they are willing to escalate higher. Their biggest weapon is obviously a general strike, which has not happened in Finland since 1956.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
We've got a really quick story wanted to fill you in on before we bring on Brandon Mancia. This coming out of Finland. Petteri Orpo is the leader of the current government coalition in Finland. It is a coalition of center-right and far-right parties. They took office in June. And since then, there has been more politically motivated industrial action than all Finnish governments from 1991 to 2023, according to Taivo Haimi in Jacobin magazine. And that is because of the agenda of this right-wing coalition government in Finland. The agenda is to make it easier to fire workers, to abolish mandatory sick pay for the first day of illness, restricting the right to strike, destroying the sectoral bargaining system, which is huge in Finland because, like in many Nordic countries and Scandinavian countries, Finland has no minimum wage. Workers in Finland rely on the collective bargaining system and union contracts to set minimum wages across the country. And so that's actually how they do it. They have, in effect, a much higher minimum wage than the United States, but that is because every workplace in Finland is covered by a union contract, basically. And so this government wants to destroy that system, wants to destroy the sectoral bargaining system. They also want to set a ceiling for wage increases based on exports, which would particularly harm service sector jobs where women dominate. They want to cut unemployment payments and Social Security, among other things. And all of these anti-worker stuff was not really at the front of their agenda during the campaign. It was primarily just about the national debt. There was not a whole lot of explicit mention of how they're going to cut the national debt, which is how politicians do it in this country. They fearmonger about the national debt, but they don't actually talk about what they want to do to bring down the national debt. So that's what happened here. And now that they're in the government, they've released this plan, and it's incredibly unpopular, which is why there has been more industrial action and strike action taken by Finnish workers than against all governments from 1991 to 2023 combined. So unions are resisting by waves of protests, walkouts, strikes, and all of that culminated in February, where 13,000 workers marched on the Capitol as 300,000 were on strike. For reference, Finland has a population of 5.5 million people compared to the United States' 330 million people. And last year, the United States had some 400,000 workers that went on strike. And that was a record high for, in decades, right? So this is, a much, much higher rate of industrial action than we see in the United States. And proportionately to the population, it would be as if 18 million workers went on strike at one time, right? These 300,000 workers were on strike at one time, whereas the 300,000 workers in the United States who went on strike last year it was not concerted. It was not all at one time. It was at different locations and different times and against different employers and for different reasons. These are 300,000 people striking all at once for one reason. I mean, just totally different set of circumstances and much more impactful. 52% of the Finnish public supports these strikes, 42% oppose. Right now, there are still 7,000 dock and industrial workers who have continued the strike now in a second week. And the unions say that they are willing to escalate higher. Their biggest weapon is obviously a general strike, which has not happened in Finland since 1956. For more reading on this, you can check out Brett Wilkins in Common Dreams. Brett Wilkins in Common Dreams, title of the article, Finnish unions extend strikes to fight right-wing attack on labor safety net. You can also read Finland's right-wing government is trying to crush labor in Jacobin magazine by Toivo Haimi.
You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.